Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Newsflash, asshole! I've been hearing it the entire goddamn time!
And welcome back to the West of Waterford podcast, the only podcast where, well, if you listen to it, you know where we're at by now. My name is Josh, and beside me on the couch, I have Brittany. Say hello, Brittany.
Hello.
There we go. And on the phone tonight, a guest we've had before, but he's back, and he wants some vengeance this time. We have John Klymshyn from the great state of California. John, how are you?
Wonderful.
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 It's good to hear you, man.
It's good to hear you both again during these COVID times.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful to hear other voices than my wife's voice.
And the ones in your head, of course.
And the one.
And the ones that haunt me daily.
Beautiful. How are things out there, John? I heard you finally kind of moved out of LA proper, Central itself, and I think you went over to.
No, they're in Studio City.
Studio
right?
City now, isn't
so
it?
you're still in Hollywood.
We're in a pocket of Studio City that's not. I mean, it's next to North Hollywood and not technically part of Hollywood. I mean, Universal Studios, the theme park, and the studio itself is within walking distance of us. But it's, excuse me, it's its own little, pocket of the valley, which is something that not a lot of us in California really like to call Studio City. I've never really liked to consider it part of the valley, but
Yeah.
I think that's just because I'm born and raised in valleys, and I have always hated living in valleys.
Yeah, I was just about to say that you're an OG Californian. You're a good old boy as far as California is concerned.
Yeah. Born by the beach, but grew up in the suburbs away from the beach, oddly enough.
Yeah, and
I
also hear tell that your parents are hightailing it out.
Yeah, I was just.
They
thinking
are,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
My parents moved tomorrow. They will be
really?
relocating to
Wow.
Idaho.
Wow.
Where's that?
Yes.
Idaho. Really?
Somewhere, some town up in Idaho they're moving to.
Very nice.
Bugging out.
Bugging out.
Yep.
I also wanted to bring up the fact that your parents were moving. They're done with California. They wanted to go to Idaho. But you were all, and it kind of has to do with just the craziness of what we live in. Like I have a friend who moved to Canada because they just want before even the election results.
She's gone already?
She's gone.
Oh, wow.
They're phasing into immigrating to Canada.
Canada.
Just felt like
Oh, yeah, eh?
like trans and gay rights, they didn't feel comfortable in the States anymore. Didn't matter who won the election, they were making those plans months ago.
Oh wow, yeah.
So it's been a time where people are like actually like, no, we're like, people are uprooting their lives and like leaving because of what they like what they stand for, what they believe, or it's been a life altering. People are actually making life changes in this moment where sometimes it's been like, I don't know, I really don't care for this, but then not doing anything about it. So it's kind of crazy. People are taking all sorts of actions in this crazy time of. But you also were witness to, I was going to say, with all this craziness going on, you were also witness to, like, Beverly Hills being boarded up and stuff
Oh, yeah.
a couple weeks ago. What was that like?
Excuse me. Yeah, I have, there was one morning when Amy and I were still living over the hill in Hollywood. I mean, the funny thing is, our zip code has changed very obviously because we're in a new part of Southern California, but we really only migrated maybe 3.5 miles away from where we lived before.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
It's really not that far, but it's like, in California world, it's like 5-6 exits off the freeway. So people are like, oh, fuck that. They're like, that's fucking far.
Because you crawl
like,
everywhere
no.
you go, yeah.
Yeah, and when we first moved in here, my very good friend Angie, who you guys have met before,
Yeah.
she's lived in the valley for quite some time. She's lived in a deeper pocket of the valley than myself. So when we moved here the first night, she's like, you're going to have to leave like an hour before your call time over at Paramount. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. So my experiment was to leave 20 minutes before my call time, and I've made it there every day 20 minutes before.
It's a magic.
Either you 10 minutes before. But yeah, traffic's starting to get a little bit more congested. Granted, it is Thanksgiving weekend, but
It helps when you have that private helicopter, I hear.
It does, you know. Luckily, we have our helipad right on top. That's why we got the 3rd floor in the new building.
I hope you didn't hire
Because of
the same
our
guys who
vaulted
hired
ceilings.
Kobe. Or,
Oh my gosh.
wow.
Kobe's
Who?
goes.
I didn't hear that one.
What, you didn't hear about Kobe Bryant?
Oh, no, I didn't hear what you said.
He
Sorry.
said, I hope you didn't
I hope
hire
you-
Kobe.
I hope you
No,
didn't
yeah,
hire the same helicopter company.
Oh.
God damn.
Kobe wasn't flying it.
I know he wasn't.
Kobe was not flying. He was a passenger.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. If I have nothing. Shut the fuck up. I really.
Bernie's
Go,
here.
Bern. Get out. Go see your mother. Crazy bastard. Always at my feet. Sorry about that.
No, of course. We like it when Bernie gets on the show. Well, I was just going to say, it's actually nice to talk to a John from Hollywood who actually is in the industry.
Yeah, we have a wannabe Hollywood.
Hollyweed, yes.
Hollywood. Hollywood. Hollyweird, am I right?
Well,
We
I'm
have a-
definitely not a Hollywood fake either. Anyway, go on.
No, we have another John that's unfortunately in our lives, and
Not anymore, really.
Josh cut him out recently because he was a wannabe Hollywood
He's
narcissistic.
son of a bitch.
Cuban
Best
dude-
way I can put it.
Thinks he's hot shit. Wears blue contacts. Cuban guy talks a little bit like
He sounds like
Al
Al Pacino for some reason.
which is not a real accent.
It's
So
it's so weird. It's like, yeah, you want to do this, you got to do it like this, and then you got to do this, and then you do that, and now where's my cocaine? Where's my cocaine?
No, this is how I described him because the first time I ever met him, he's basically the guy of where you look around at your friends and you just go, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
It's like just the way he like comes at you and you're like, whoa, bro,
Oh,
you
yeah.
are like way too aggressive. Like, what is wrong with you? So he's just like, who is this guy? Kind of a guy. So go ahead.
Who's
and
this guy?
Yeah, who's this guy over here? Get him out of my face. Get him out of my face.
So I mean, I was just thinking. It's funny because I'm talking to another John who actually is in the industry because John has always been good enough to provide us the receipts, as it were. You know, he's just showing us pictures like, oh yeah, this is like that time you met Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh yeah.
Pictures with like, oh yeah, this guy, and it's like, and it's well
Well,
known.
I got,
It's not about
the
meeting, it's
privilege
working
of
with.
Working with
Yeah,
Jamie
well,
Lee
yeah,
Curtis,
working with,
like,
exactly,
for
yeah.
several months. That was, and I read, that one of the questions that you've asked me, is there anything I regret? And the one thing I regret, I actually realized very recently, was when Amy and I moved. We've been going through so many boxes. I found one of my Scream Queen scripts, and it was the episode that she directed.
Oh, really?
And it was, and it said directed by Jamie Lee Curtis on it. And I'm like, why the fuck didn't I get her, Stamos, Kirstie Alley, and Roberts, like all of them to fucking sign this thing? Like, what the
Yeah.
hell was I thinking?
It's also very
You know,
cool. That's
Yeah.
very cool that you worked with Kirstie Alley as well because Brittany and I have been watching a lot of Cheers and
Oh yeah.
Well, we go through phases.
Yeah,
We
but-
always put it on. It's kind of like just a comfort
yeah,
food
I like
type
Cheers.
of yeah.
yeah. And I think we've both come
Cheers
to,
reminds me of childhood.
yeah, absolutely. I think we've also both come to the conclusion that the Kirstie Alley years are our favourite, and I think Kirstie Alley has a lot to do with it because,
Yeah, for sure.
oh my God, I mean, I'm
I
just,
agree.
just speaking for every heterosexual male on the planet. My God, was she beautiful back in those days?
She was nice. She was nice looking indeed. She, and she, when I worked with her, she was not terrible looking either. This was after all the fat actress stuff and all her Jenny
Yeah.
Craig madness.
Yeah.
But I remember her in the Olsen twins film It Takes Two.
Yes,
And I was like, fuck yeah, Kirstie Alley. And then look who's talking. You're like,
Yep.
damn, look at those eyes. Like there's something about those
Oh,
fucking eyes.
The
man.
Yes.
eyes. Yeah, I thought you were going to say, look at those milkers.
No. It's her
I thought you were going to get really
What?
horrible there for a
as
second.
a straight
My
woman.
God.
No, that's the thing about her. It's her her face, but her eyes for sure.
Her
and
eyes,
she has
yeah.
wonderul hair.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
we-
Luscious locks.
Speaking for
Yeah.
every gay man on the planet, I think we can all appreciate our hair, sisters, right?
What is your secret?
What is your
girlfriend?
secret? Oh my God, your
No,
hair is so
we-
beautiful.
We were just watching blooper stuff on YouTube, some compilations, and she popped up, and I guess her first appearance on TV was that she was a game show contestant on something. I can't remember what it was, but
Yeah,
it was like in
Match
the
Game.
1970.
Match Game back in
72 or something.
No, Match Game in 70.
What? No way.
She was on Match Game in 79, I think, or the
Or was
dating
it that
game.
78, something like that? No, it was like
78,
I think
79.
anyway, it was actually quite a few years before she like got like an actual acting. But that was kind of like her first, and that was the whole thing. Is the host was like, "Hello, like,
Yeah.
who are you, my fine woman?"
She got that beautiful smoky voice.
Oh yeah, it's a voice too.
Yeah.
She's funny as well. So, yeah.
No, the fact you got to work with her, the fact that you got to be in the same room with her, that's kind of the equivalent for me of like if I shook hands with Winona Ryder back in 1988.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, are you kidding me? Biggest crush.
Oh, yeah.
She's probably my biggest Hollywood crush. Well, she'd be up there, but she's definitely now still.
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Winona Ryder, she up there. Don't tell me you met her.
I have not. No.
Okay, fair enough.
I have not had the opportunity.
I hate to
I
tell
always
you.
I like her, but definitely not like not in your mind with her for sure.
Oh,
That's
right.
me.
Yeah, Josh has
You know.
interesting taste. Have you met me? No. Have you seen this mug?
I'll have you know you're very
Don't we
beautiful.
feel? What the hell was that?
Oh,
Don't
that's-
we feel something knocked on the door? Sorry. Oh, going back to Bernie real quick. This
Yeah.
morning, so I'm coming home. I went and got some work done on the car, and I came back, and I noticed that there was a car parked in front of the fire hydrant. So I called the office, and nobody answers. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I get back up into the apartment, and I call the office again. And anytime I come home, both the dogs start barking. Just doesn't fucking matter why. They just always do. So I am, the phone's ringing. They're barking. I'm like, stop. Phone's ringing. Stop. And, somebody on the other end answers like, such and such apartments. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I was like, oh, so I apologize. That's the first thing that you heard. She goes, you know what? I'm feeling that way today. So it's okay. I was like, all right, great.
No.
Fantastic. Well, let's move on.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I'm yelling at the dog, not you.
Yeah.
Dog just gives
The
you a
dog-
look.
The dogs always bark because they have that issue with like object permanence. Like if you've left the room, they're like he might not be able to find back where we are. Where is he? He's in some other dimension. Bark so he knows where we are and that we're here.
Exactly.
Hey.
It's actually a good way to look at what the dogs think about. I know it's definitely that separation anxiety, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
if they are that philosophical and they're like, he slipped into another dimension.
Yeah.
Dad's gone. Where the hell did he go?
Oh dear! It's always a catastrophe. It's like, where will he go? He'll never come back. How will we eat?
I love that's.
Well, they touched on that, on Wilfred, that show with Elijah Wood.
Oh, I have not watched that. But
It was originally a show in Australia, and then he brought it to FX here in America, and Elijah
Gotcha.
Wood was in it.
yeah.
And I watched the first season. It was entertaining, but
Yeah.
it gets a little fucked up. I mean, it's one of those shows that it's one of those uncomfortable shows, kind of like Curb Your Enthusiasm, but not like more on like a really dark, like black comedy way where
Right.
it's not necessarily funny, but you're like, oh, this is
You're just
kind
like,
of
oh.
funny.
Yeah.
It's strange.
The thing that pops into my mind is when you get those kind of feelings is watching BoJack Horseman. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, this feels bad now. That got too real.
Well,
I've never seen BoJack. I've got to watch BoJack.
BoJack is all right.
Never seen it.
It can be. It's so. Yes. I don't know if we've ever I don't know if we've watched all the seasons, but I've watched most of them.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you can't binge watch it. For
Yeah,
sure.
it
'cause
is.
It's too heavy. It's too heavy. So you kind of have to watch it season, take a break, watch another season, take like.
It's like if Arrested Development got really, really, really depressing. It's kind of like Arrested Development on like antidepressants or Ritalin. It's kind of like these even me out. Sorry for flying off the rails.
No, it does have those moments where you're just like, oh, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does hit you in the soul at times.
You can't, especially like when I was like in the pit of like COVID, like in April, I was like watching too much of it, and I was like, I think this is making me depressed. So yeah, so I say watch it. It's very good, but like only in like digestible doses. Like don't like get bogged down into like because it's funny and it's real, but it gets heavy as shit.
It's one of those shows where you kind of at the end, if you have a balcony, you kind of just stand there on the balcony, kind of looking out across the cityscape, just going, "What does it all mean?"
I get you. I understand that.
What does it mean?
It's so good though. It is really good.
The big one I binge watched at the beginning of the year, actually. just to kind of get my mind off COVID, I started watching It's Always Sunny again. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
He doesn't like It's Always Sunny.
But you don't like it, do you, John?
No, I'm not. I'm not a fan.
How?
The thing is,
How?
I don't like Muppet Man Charlie Day. I don't like it.
Oh,
I
wow.
can't do it. I can't do it, and he's the worst part of Pacific Rim, in my opinion, and I hate the fact that he's in that movie.
The worst thing about Pacific Rim is the fact that it got a production budget, in my opinion. For Christ's sake.
Pacific Rim's a bitch in times, man.
That's really funny you say that, Josh, because we like the latest, most recent Godzillas, and Pacific Rim is somewhat related to that universe.
It's Godzilla.
Obviously.
Godzilla is cool.
I've been wanting to watch Pacific Rim.
You can put Godzilla in any situation. I will watch. Godzilla sells lemonade to the local children. I will watch that. I am going to watch that because it's God fucking Zilla. I'm not going to watch something that's trying to be Godzilla without Godzilla.
Can you just break that down?
Hey kids, do you like Godzilla? Yay!
Wait, Josh.
Do you like when he's not there? Boo! How about a movie that's like Godzilla but he's not there?
You just talked about a very different film, by the way, when you said God fucking Zilla, because the
that's the
1998 Godzilla is referred to as Zilla. So you're talking about actual God,
Gojira.
our Father
Gojira.
in heaven,
Gojira.
fucking Zilla, the
Oh.
1998 Godzilla with Matthew Broderick witnessing it all.
That's a lot of fish.
Matthew Broderick, Jean Reno, Hank
Yes, Jean
Azaria.
Reno.
Hank Azaria. Yeah, it's so weird. A big portion of the Simpsons cast, actually. Nancy Cartwright.
And it is a female, so
Harry
it works.
Shearer.
Harry, whatever the fuck his name is.
Harry Shearer, yeah.
Harry Shearer, yep.
Why don't you come back to my office and we can talk?
Yeah. You're very beautiful.
You're very beautiful.
Mr. Cayman. I know that movie by fucking heart. I saw it like 3 times in theaters.
Yeah.
I will still watch it because,
just
God damn it,
nostalgia.
it's fun fucking times.
I'm
It's
Hank
just
Azaria.
awesome.
Well, yeah.
It's awesome.
It's-
It's awesome. It's terrible. But
It
it's
is
Yeah.
so bad. But I do love Jean Reno kind of does bring some kind of legitimacy to it. I don't
Fuck
know
yeah,
what
he
it
does,
is.
man.
I don't know what it is about Jean Reno. He just brings legitimacy to it. He's a goofy French guy.
He is.
But he's so...
He's a badass, goofy French guy.
Yeah, that's the weird... What did you see, old man? Gojira.
Yeah.
Gojira.
Gojira. Gojira.
What was it?
And then that one bitch, she's like, it's not Godzilla, it's Gojira.
Gojira, you moron.
It's Gojira. And Matthew Broderick, good God, it's Tatopoulos. Fucking
That's
A.
Tatopoulos.
Nicholas Papadopoulos, it's Tatopoulos.
Mr. Tatooine, it's Tatop... What?
Tatopoulos. Oh God, I could go off.
It was just
for
a running...
hours on
That was a running
1998
joke.
Godzilla.
Yeah. No,
Roland Emmerich, director of Independence Day and Stargate.
yeah.
That fucking took the helm of Godzilla and just... Oh, and the baby Godzilla's in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. The Velociraptor scene from Jurassic Park, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Basically what it was. I mean, it didn't...
pretty much.
It was great when I first saw it in the cinema. Like you, I saw it in the cinema in '98 when it first came out.
You
I
were
thought
an
it was...
impressionable
Oh, yeah.
child.
I thought it was the best thing I'd ever seen because up until then,
Big
you know...
lizard on screen. It's just
Big
like Jurassic Park kind of.
Yeah,
in that
but I
way.
mean,
It
I
gave you
think-
the same feeling.
The Lost World Jurassic Park had come out, I think, the year before, in 1997. And I remember seeing that in cinema, too. And I remember that movie kind of scarring me more so than even the original Jurassic Park, which I saw probably too young. I saw that probably...
Dude, oh, yeah, Lost World was intense as a kid. man.
Dark. So dark. Yeah.
So, that's why I loved it so much. Like, it just, like, went off on just such a fucked up... I mean, the first one's already fucked up.
Yeah. It
Like,
is.
in just all humanity's sake. Like, it is such a twisted plot.
But it's whimsical.
God damn it, it's such a brilliant fucking movie.
Yeah, the first one is so whimsical. The second one is dinosaurs without the whimsy. It's terrible. Brittany looks like she has a point to make.
We look like you have something to say. No, I was just trying to. I was just trying to remember. There's a second one with Julianne Moore,
Yeah.
and that's
Sarah Harding.
that
Correct.
scene where their vehicle's like off the edge of the cliff and she's just on the glass and
yeah.
it starts cracking.
That is
oh my
unbelievable.
god,
That is so intense.
so good.
That
It's
is
still intense, too. I
Yeah.
still watch it. I'm like, fucking Sarah Harding,
Yeah.
don't move.
Yeah.
And then Vince Vaughn before, like, he was Vince Vaughn. And
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And
Jeff Goldblum and oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
the little guy from the
Pete
West Wing.
Postlethwaite. The guy from the West Wing.
Yeah, who gets horribly. My father, when we were in
man.
the cinema for Eddie's death scene, it was the first time this is the man who let me watch Jaws at 5. And,
nice.
that final scene where Quint is devoured by the shark, we watched that with our nieces and our nephew. And at that final scene, when the shark chomps down on Quint and starts pulling him around the deck, my sister-in-law, Brittany's sister, leaps across me to cover the eyes of the child, William, who's watching it with us.
The child, William, the blessed child.
The wee baby William. But William beats her hands away because he's just so horrified, but also this is amazing. My father did the exact same thing when Eddie was torn in half by the Rexes in Jurassic Park.
That right?
Yeah, he put his hand across my face because he just didn't think I could handle it. But I mean, Jaws was fine, but that was just too much.
That was brutal times, man. I remember that. Just oh.
Godzilla
Lost World Jurassic Park holds a very special place in my heart because it's the first movie that I got to see in theaters after my second open heart surgery. And we were at the mall, my parents and I were it was my first outing, completely, of leaving the house I was able to fully stand up straight, I could walk without really hurting anything up. So my parents let's go to the mall, let's have dinner at Red Robin to celebrate, all this fucking shit. So we're walking into the mall, and I look over at the movie theater, and they're putting up on the marquee Lost World Jurassic Park, and it's a Thursday. And I'm and I asked the guy, and I literally...
Damn, you remember it was a Thursday.
Yeah.
Dude, I could tell you what I was fucking wearing, too. But, so I look up at the guy, I'm is Lost World coming out tomorrow? He goes, no, well, tomorrow, yes, but we're having midnight screenings tonight. And I looked at my dad, and I said, can we go? And he looked around, he's let me talk to your mom. So I was okay, all right. And I was fuck it, my sister has school tomorrow, we're not gonna go, no big deal. So we went to have dinner, and then after dinner my dad's hey John, so Lauren is we're gonna let Lauren come with us, but she wants to go to the movie so you can see the movie, so we're gonna go see Lost World Jurassic Park tonight. And I almost started crying. I was so fucking happy. I was oh my God, we're gonna go see Lost World Jurassic Park before any of my friends, before anybody. I was just
that is amazing.
A midnight movie. So we went and saw it, and I'll always remember that was the first time I ever saw a trailer for Spawn too, with John Leguizamo. And that fucking trailer terrified the hell out of me so bad that I almost walked out of the theater, but I just looked away and from the screen for the rest of the trailer because I couldn't handle it. I was this fucking clown is horrifying.
Your heart couldn't. There's a risk of your heart taking it. They had to send you to the hospital
Jesus.
in that night.
Yeah, but then you think we're saying Lost World is so dark. I mean, when they're in the long grass, you're don't go into the long grass. And
what was his name?
AJ.
RJ and
didn't make it.
Yeah, he didn't make it.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
so good.
I still love that movie. I don't care what anybody says about it.
So good.
It's the sci-fi it's kind of the first Jurassic Park is kind of if you think of the side, if you want to that's the Fifth Element kind of sci-fi. And I know Jurassic Park is sci-fi anyway, but I'm just trying to draw a parallel here. It's the Fifth Element. It's big, it's bright, there's a bit of whimsy, there's danger, yes, whatever. The second one is more like Blade Runner. It's just dark, gritty. It's just the atmosphere is just so oppressive, I think. I don't know what it is. Site B itself just seems so oppressive compared to the other one. Just the way Spielberg shot everything, I think, in the second film. I don't know what was going through his mind. It was I just want to do what I did, but make it really, really just leaner, meaner, and more nasty.
Yeah, much more gritty.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I don't know. We like to watch the movie reviewer Chris Stuckman, and he had a point about Steven Spielberg's films really changed after the criticism of Temple of Doom, because that was so dark.
Oh.
I mean, the fact that it is a family film, and you have visions, the visuals of his hearts being ripped out and voodoo curses and crazy stuff, that it just he received so much criticism that he actually Chris Stuckman kind of argues, I think that actually totally changed his way of filmmaking. I think he might have mentioned Lost World though as being maybe the only other gritty, dark, not being afraid to go really dark places even if it's geared towards family and children.
Sure.
But that was like.
But I don't know if Jurassic Park was ever really geared towards children. I mean, the park
It's
was.
family.
But,
It's
I
a
mean,
family.
I don't know if the movies were.
It's definitely family film for sure.
Well, yeah, because John Hammond, he's like, it'll drive kids
no
out of their
expense.
minds. Is like his whole thing. So
Yeah.
Well, sorry, say that again.
he always wants to.
His quote
No,
was
I'm
what?
good. He wants to drive kids out of their minds. So it's like,
Yeah.
it is very family oriented.
Yeah.
Well, the second one certainly
Yeah,
wasn't. I mean, I don't think the second one
Yeah.
was.
Well.
And by the way, speaking of Spielberg, yes, Schindler's List was voted as one of the greatest comedies of all time.
I'm talking about
Greatest
his
family
family.
movie ever.
I'm talking about his family entertainment. His family entertainment was going down like a dark, not being afraid to go down a darker path,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like receiving some criticism and it maybe being a risk in his career. He shifted towards like when you think of like E.T. and that kind of stuff.
I have never seen E.T. and I never will.
What the fuck?
I will never watch E.T. Oh no, okay.
Josh
no,
has a
I
lot of
will-
unpopular opinions.
I will admit to have seen probably E.T., but I don't remember anything from it. Most of what I know from E.T. is actually because of the parodies. But if I did see it, it made no impression on me, and I don't remember a thing about E.T. And I will never watch it again because I just have no interest in it. E.T. extraterrestrial, no thanks.
Extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial.
Well, actually,
This is the extraterrestrial.
actually,
Jesse Ventura over here. Follow the money to the extraterrestrial threat that is claiming our nation. I'm Jesse Ventura, a governor, a former wrestler. I ain't got time to bleed.
actually, some fan theories on E.T. and like what his intentions were for even being on planet Earth in the first place are very, very dark.
E.T.
I don't know if you're aware of those fan theories of like, I can't explain it now. All I know is that there's like some dark fan theories out there of E.T.'s real intentions. He really was
no,
like,
I haven't heard
he
of
really,
that.
really. It would.
No.
I know you probably don't like. It's things like just ruin your childhood, like that whole stuff. Like Angela, what's it? Like when you hear about like Rugrats,
Angelica, yeah.
Angelica being on heroin and all of like you just hear all these like fan theories that just
Yeah.
just like try and destroy your childhood. And E.T. is one of them that he's like actually like a dark, like he's trying to actually destroy the planet and crazy stuff like that.
Well, you never know.
He's just
They
bringing
never did really
intel
touch
back.
on it.
You're like, oh, it makes sense. Yeah, he's just trying to deliver intelligence, but he's like not he's
I have to read some of those fan theories.
malevolent.
Those sound great. We are going to move quickly along here. This is obviously going to be based very heavily around our guest, Mr. John Klymshyn from California. So we're going to move into a bit here that we like to call on this show Brit Bits, and this is where Brittany kind of gets to take lead, even though everything's been fairly balanced now. Brit Bits, and of course we get the starting intro music. Yes, there it is.
Oh wow, okay.
And
Nice starting music.
yeah, well, she chose it, and it was very, very quiet on the waveform there. So maybe I should have. Let me just try that again.
No, you don't need to try it again. That's all right, honey.
You sure?
We're taking it easy tonight. No,
I know we're taking it easy tonight, but I like to do things right. So let me just try that again. Brit Bits
if you
starting
don't
music.
do it right the first time, try again.
I'm gonna have to try again here because I got something wrong.
God.
And here we go, Brit Bits. Brittany, when you're ready. What the hell is wrong with you, machine? There it is. Brit, do your bit.
That third time was not charming. Let's
I know.
move on. No, we were kind of just getting on with it casually anyway because, you know, you were talking about Jurassic Park, so if we kind of reverse it a little bit, I know that Jurassic Park is the film that made you go into... Okay, Josh is...
I'm just gonna get a drink. I'll be right back.
Josh is leaving, so I had to lift the mic away from me for a little bit. But no, I know Jurassic Park is what really inspired you to be in the career that you have. So why don't you tell our lovely audience about what it is that you exactly do? We kind of touched on it, and what you're working on, and any side projects you might be working on too. Like, what's your main gig and all that?
You cut out. What's my what?
What's your main gig right now and all that?
Main gig. Currently am working on NCIS Los Angeles, and with the way that COVID's working out, I'm not really involved in a whole lot of on-set production. I mean, I'm on set a lot, but usually last season before, I would be kind of setting the background as part of my job. And now I just kind of bring them to set and have others on set them. And a colleague of mine will take them from me as I bring them in and set them up on the set and, to walk between talent and to and fro in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the day, we just sign them out. They all are doing their COVID testing as well. So it's like, it's interesting now because we usually, like last season, we'd show up about hour before. I'd get background through much quicker. Granted, our numbers were a lot bigger then as well.
You're right.
The background count now is under 10 just about every episode, and that's if we have any background. A lot of the times we don't have background.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fun. So I just kind of take care of the stand-ins. I make sure that they're on set, and when our main cast jumps off, they jump in so camera can light and make sure that we have the scene ready to go. And then at the end of the day, I sign them out and I do a little bit of paperwork and send it over to our accounting department, and then I come home. So that's been my gig the last few years.
Hollywood magic.
show.
Yeah, no. So that's like the role of like an assistant director, right? Like there's like first and second ADs. So is that what you're doing?
Yeah,
and
there's
such.
first, there's second, and then a lot of times like an additional second, or depending on what. If you're in the union, I'm currently not in the union, but I have
Gotcha.
my days to be in the union. It's just not a position I want to continue on in a career.
Gotcha.
So I am not going to be jumping into that union just yet as said AD, but it's a lot of people enjoy it. A lot of people do not. It's not a job for everybody.
No.
That's
So-
for sure. And it's not a job for me, to be honest with you. And a lot of people know that about me. It's just not
Gotcha.
something that I didn't, I didn't watch Jurassic Park. And when it ended, it was like, who was the assistant director on that?
Yeah.
I had no fucking idea what the hell an assistant director was until, and I'm not even lying to you on this, I didn't know what an assistant director was until I got asked to be a second AD on a Lifetime Christmas movie back in 2008. Yeah, and I was like, I honestly thought I was going to be like breaking in like some mad cash and just like being this badass, assistant director. And
On a Hallmark movie.
On a Hallmark movie, yeah. And,
Lifetime.
Lifetime. Sorry, excuse me.
Same
Yeah.
stuff.
Aren't they the same thing? Lifetime
It's
Hallmark.
what my 69-year-old mother watches on
Yes.
occasion. It nearly
Yep.
makes me vomit if I stop and watch it for longer than 2 seconds.
I'm just thinking badass doesn't really ring true there with Lifetime.
No, but I
But-
but no, that ties into what I was gonna ask you, if there's like any, most people are naive to like what it is like to be on like a set for a television or movie or in a Hollywood set. So like, what are some like because like I heard the term like assistant director and I'm like, whoa, yeah, that sounds like it does. You're right. It does sound like you'd be like making a lot of money and like being in the upper, echelons or whatever of like what it is to be behind scenes. So what are some misconceptions about what you do, and like what would you like to clear up about that, if anything?
Well, like I was saying, like if I wanted to jump into the union as an assistant director, I would jump in first as a second, and that's just how you would begin it. And you'd work your way from there up to first. And as many projects as I have served as first assistant director, they all equate to getting me into that union.
Gotcha.
And that union does pay you very well if you also, if you work. And that's, if you work. So it's all really just like where you want to be in this industry. And I'm sure just like with any other career that anybody's trying to get into, these steps, that you have to climb. And the assistant director steps was never a set of steps that I ever planned on climbing. And I've always been told that I'm good at my job. I'm better at first ADing than I am second ADing, because to be completely straight up with you, and a lot of people that work with me know this, I'm not good with paperwork. And I'm not dyslexic, or I'm not diagnosed dyslexic. I'm just not good with it. And it's not because I don't care. It's just because it's not something that I thought I'd be doing when I was, falling in love with the entertainment industry as a child. And
as long as it wasn't falling in love with you, buddy.
Yeah, So
kidding.
there was a lot of people that I met throughout my childhood and growing up that were like, "Don't go into the entertainment industry. It's not everything. It's not what you think it is. It's not what you think it is."
It's not all cracked up.
And
to
they
be.
were
It's all
they
all
were
glitz and
absolutely
glamour.
what?
It's not all it's cracked up to be, kid. It's not all glitz and glamour.
Yeah, so and it absolutely is not. The only glitz and glamour comes from you being an actor and you being the director or the writer or the producers. Everybody else is either just working towards retirement or they just don't have anything else to do. And oddly enough, like I'm in this business because I love it. There's still a lot of people that come into this business because they love it. But I feel nowadays with like Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and Tweeby and Crackle and like all these streaming services.
I'm partially Snap and Pop.
Everybody's doing it now. So it's there's like almost no. I don't know. It's a very interesting new world, especially with this fucking lockdown and COVID and everything. And there's a show on Netflix now that was shot on Zoom, and it's called like socially distanced or some shit like that. I haven't watched it, but I'm like, I don't want to be watching movies or TV shows where people are sitting in front of their fucking computer.
I know.
It's
like, what the hell is
They're
this?
really.
It's a really good point you make there, actually. And the parallel there is, I mean, even what we're doing here right now, doing a podcast, even though, like, we're not rich, we're not successful, but you know what? I think there's a platform there for it. I think it has a greater potential for success than even, say, commercial radio nowadays. And I love commercial radio. I'll sit there and I'll listen to the morning show here in Phoenix, 98 KUPD. And I would love to get a job there simply because I love radio. I would love to get a job with any radio station, even though I know that I wouldn't really make that much money. I'd probably start quite literally in a sales department, going out with the promotions guys. And then really it's about luck, getting on air, showing that you're talented or something like that. You could end up being a PD, a program director, where you're just basically, okay, these are the songs we're going to play this hour, then we're going to play these ads, and then... Yeah, I mean, but you look at guys like Opie and Anthony, Howard Stern, to an extent here, John Holmberg here in the Valley, and you see, you don't really see past. They are like actors in the fact that a lot of people don't see past that and the actual work that goes. I think radio is a better medium in the sense that everything is, because it's all a live production, what's going on the air. You get a better idea what's going on because of the presenter will usually be talking to producers because the producer is a part of the show in a lot of cases. And you'll hear the interns coming in and out. So it's like it's a production, but you're seeing you're hearing the machinations of the work that's going on to make it actually happen at that time. Whereas movies are just, they're dressed up beautifully. Obviously, there's a lot more production, but it's not there to be. It's not there to be like, oh well, I wonder how they did that. Well, if you look there, you'll see the wire holding the little boy as he flies across Neverland. It's kind of like that.
Movie magic.
But I mean, you're saying like Hulu, Netflix, Crackle, Snap, Crackle, Pop, whatever it is. And you're right. Yeah, there's nothing interesting about sitting there watching a guy look at a computer for 2 hours.
Well, that's just also been
avant-garde bullshit. I don't need that.
That's been done. That's already been done enough. It's not a cool gimmick anymore. Like, I mean, I know they've done it with horror genres. They did it with that suspense thriller, which actually was quite good. What was that called?
Which one?
There was
Searching.
Searching. That was actually that was well done. But like, you can only do that so many times. We watched it together.
We
Searching.
did. I don't even remember.
He doesn't remember. It must not have been impressionable. But yeah,
Blair Witch Project. The Blair Witch Project is one of the best examples.
Well, yeah, found like you can only do something that's like. It's kind of like you have to be first, and then it can't really be reproduced because anything that's reproduced is just a rip off. So.
Yeah.
Things that are found footage. And now the latest thing, is like it all takes place from like a computer desktop. Like, they even did like a Modern Family episode that was like, but it was like revolutionary at the time. It was like, whoa, this is so cool. Yeah. But now we all spend way too much time looking at screens, and it's like I'm trying to even though I'm looking at a screen, I don't want to be looking at a screen on a screen because that's just too much right now. Like my brain can't take it. So. Is it
Too
supposed?
much screening.
Yeah. What is this? What is this Zoom movie? Is it like in a horror genre or like a comedy or what is it? Do you know?
Which one?
You're talking about like something that's like takes place like as a Zoom call. That's the whole film.
Yeah, it was it's like I think it's a TV show
Oh,
or something
TV
like that. I
show.
think, yeah,
Oh wow, that's
Wow.
That's
there's
bad.
there's some names in it too. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I can't remember. You know what? I don't even remember what the hell it's called. But yeah, it's or no, social distanced or something
Okay,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Socially something. But yeah, I would say like I think everybody can attest that I work with that the glitz and glamour only really applies to the actors, and they are, as much as I like a lot of them that I've worked with, they definitely are just
Ooh.
a lot of them are very helpless.
Yeah.
A lot of them are very helpless, and it sucks, you know.
Well,
it's
I
like,
imagine. I mean, look, I'm on Twitter most days. Speaking of looking at screens, and I look at Twitter and I see what actors and actresses have to say for themselves.
You're just like,
And it's like, oh, you haven't got a brain in your head, do you? You need a script, don't you?
well,
Not all of them, but
No.
there's a lot that are like they're putting their 2 cents out there, and it's like, dude, you were quite literally the equivalent to the little monkey with cymbals going. It's all we want from you. We want you to wind up, entertain us, and then wind down, and we don't want to know about you after that, Brittany.
actually, one of my favorite things about hearing about actors' commentary on that is Louis C.K. He was on radio and he was just talking about he wasn't even trying to be insulting. But it came across that way because he was just like he's like actors, you know, they're just an empty coffee cup. You gotta without somebody filling up the vessel, like they're just empty coffee cups. They don't have anything to give to you. That's and then like everybody starts laughing because it's like it sounded like an insult. Came across as an insult. Oh, did he? Is he? Are you still there, John? Oh, did we lose him?
I don't think so. John?
Johnny boy.
Ooh, technical difficulties for the first time. That's a weird one. Let me see if I can get him back here.
Okay.
We'll see if we can get John back. Hopefully we can. I gotta redial here.
I mean, it's one thing for you not to respond to me but John's pretty good at being responsive to whatever I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I was like wondering, I'm like, what's going on here?
This is very strange that we would have lost him like that. But I mean, so far, I think this is... We are going to try to get him back, but so far, I think this is going on superbly well.
Thank you for always critiquing mid-show.
You are
Everybody
very
enjoys that self-aggrandizing audience clapping that you always give yourself. It's the best part of the show.
Isn't it just...
I think we're doing super duper. Don't
see.
you,
Call
dear
back.
audience?
Don't you, indeed. Let's see. Oh, I think we might be getting him back.
All right, yeah, he's
Give me
trying
1
to
second
dial
here.
There we go.
Yeah,
There he is.
Lost you there.
The show...
Yeah, sorry about that.
The show was foundering very, very quickly
No, it
without
wasn't.
you. It was like that ending scene in Titanic, where the little fella went, slipping to the bottom of the ocean because he couldn't fit on a door.
The little fella.
The little fella.
The little fella.
I know.
Yes.
I love how they always make a meme about this. Like the door was big, and it was like, if you watch the scene, it's that the weight. It can't take both of their weight.
Yeah.
Just go back and watch the movie, and you'll realize that how stupid you are. Anyway, I was talking about actors being Louis C.K. put it, and he was as their empty coffee
Empty vessels
cups.
need to be filled up.
Yeah, they're empty coffee
Right,
cups.
right.
They don't have anything to offer to you unless you have to put it in there for them.
Yeah.
And then and all the guys like around him on the radio show started laughing. He's like, "Oh my gosh, no! Like I actually did not mean that as an insult. It's like it's almost kind of like beautiful how vacant they are." And he just like keeps on putting his like he keeps on like literally like putting like his foot in the grave about it or foot in the mouth about it and all that stuff. So it is true. There's something about how they kind of like are able to just open themselves and just like take on whatever they need. But sometimes that means they're very empty when they zap out that character or that coffee out of their coffee cup and they just don't know. A little bit vacant. But that's part of their job, I think, is they have to be,
Honestly, I'm not
It's part of the
sure. I don't
art
know.
form.
It's fascinating, though. It is. It's just fascinating to me
Yeah.
One of my
to see it. Yeah.
One of my favorite a podcast I like listening to is Mark Maron. It's usually the same bullshit over and over again, so I can only I don't listen to it religiously because he's just having podcast interviews with a lot of actors and actresses, and a lot of them have the same story of how they got started and what it's like to be in the industry, and but it is interesting, the art form behind it and how people get into it. And
well, there's a reason Mark Maron is not really. I mean, Mark Maron was the guy back in the day when it came to the podcast, and then Joe Rogan came along, and Rogan just because Rogan just sits down with any. Mark Maron does sit around mostly with celebrities.
Oh yeah.
And after a while, you just realize that
it's the same stuff over and over again.
But Rogan will sit down with like paleontologists, radio hosts, political activists. He'll run the gambit of everything. Some weird things like, so, I was a clown when I was in 7th grade. Oh, you were like the class clown? No, I actually dressed up in makeup and went out and scared the children. And it's like, oh wow, yeah, you gotta. Hey, ever tried DMT? But Rogan's way of podcasting, and the guests he's got. He's Mr. Late Night now. Realistically, he pulls in more. He pulls in more viewership than any of the late night shows. I know you're a particular fan of Seth Meyers, if I remember correctly. I think I saw a rant on your Facebook.
We love John rants.
I think I saw a rant on your Facebook page.
There probably was.
I think
there very likely was.
Yeah, I don't think you have too much time for that guy. Based on what I saw from that, I remember cracking up laughing.
There was one last question I had.
Yes.
Going back to working on set. Have you? And you were kind of talking about how working with actors and actresses can be kind of interesting, fascinating, if you must. Have you witnessed any like on-set meltdowns or anything that you'd like to share with us? Some juicy things like that.
Oh, good for you!
Some Christian Bale level shit.
God damn, man, you're amateur. You're amateur.
Definitely no Christian Bale type scenarios.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I've always wanted one though.
Yes.
just to see it, go down. I was doing what is it? I wasn't even really there for it, and it wasn't even really a meltdown, so it's nothing really mentionable there. But let me see. Going through the
Somebody got Kirstie Alley's donut order wrong.
Rolodex. No.
Stop. Let the man think for a moment.
I'll give him a minute.
No, I really haven't seen or when I did Scream Queens, there was some interesting drunkenness kind of going down with some people on that show.
Drunkenness.
But nothing like.
So just hot mess. So no meltdown, just hot messes.
Yeah, just kind of hot messes. When I was early on into it, there was a lot of the cast of the movies that I was on were bigger, like in the 90s, I suppose, and they enjoyed bringing big gulps in, and the big gulps were usually bottles of wine.
Oh wow!
Oh Jesus!
But other than that, I can't. There's nothing really. I mean, I guess I've been fortunate to work with. I mean, I've worked with one Oscar winner. I know Cloris Leachman is an Oscar winner, so I worked with her.
Yeah.
She was fun.
Is she still with us, or has she passed?
She's still alive.
Wow,
yeah.
she's got to be up there now.
She is up there. She's in her 90s for sure.
Yeah. I seem to remember her being on Malcolm in the Middle as Lois's mother, I believe.
Was she? I've never watched that show.
I love that show, but she was very funny on that. I think it is Cloris Leachman.
I think you're right.
Yeah, you see her in a lot of things, and she always kind of and you're kind of always like, she's very funny. Who is she? And then it's kind of like you're like, I know her, but you wouldn't know her by name. I try to learn these people's names as best I can, just so I can kind of give them the respect, kind of like, especially those old timey actors, like some of the older ones, like. You see them in a lot of things. You know their face, but you don't really know their name. So you want to give them the respect by at least learning
like a
them.
Jim Broadbent.
Like Jim Broadbent, yeah.
You see him in everything, but we never learned his name. And then one night we sat down, we're learning this guy's fucking name because you see him in everything. God damn.
He's a wonderful actor. He's a great actor.
Yeah,
that's a great thing about him.
He's awesome. I would love to work with him. That would be awesome. I just thought of not necessarily a meltdown, but kind of like a spat between an actress and this director that I used to work with. I was doing this movie at this winery up north in California, with Jenny Garth from 90210, OG 90210.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
she and the director from day one, I could tell they weren't getting along. And I was second AD on this movie, so I was spending most of my time on the phone with Jenny Garth, just kind of filling her in on her next days, because at rap she would just bounce before I could fill her in, so I'd have to call her and whatnot. So there's one day where she comes in and she's like, "Hey, John, so I have to leave at such and such a time for my kid's graduation today." And I was like, "All right, cool. I'll let Michael know." She goes, No, I'm letting you know." And I was like,
Oh, Jesus.
"Okay." So I'm like, "All right, cool. What do I do with this information?" I tell my director. So I go tell the director, and I'm like,
Who was
"Hey,
Michael Madsen, by the way.
yeah," I was like, "So Jenny's got to leave." I honestly don't remember what fucking time it was, but it was definitely before we were going to wrap the day, and this was back when, and I'm sure that there are still shows that do this. There were 18 to 20 pages and 13 to 15 scenes shot a day, and these are like those Lifetime movies where every scene is done in one take of every setup, so that's why they're never very good.
Wow.
So
there you go.
we're like sitting there. Yeah, I guess that's some info if you didn't know that. But we have
Let's
this
move
big
on.
wedding. Yeah, we have this big wedding sequence that we're shooting. We've got like 50 background there. We set up this whole thing, and Jenny, starts coming down the aisle. This, that, and the other. We shoot a couple scenes of coverage, and it's like it's getting close, and she's like, I'm like getting fucking burned in the back of my neck because she's just looking at me, and she's like, "I need to go soon." Like, within like, if she's not gone in 10 minutes, then she's not coming for the rest of the show. So we cut. She looks at the director. She goes, "I'm leaving. See you tomorrow." He goes, "You're not leaving. We've got like 4 more scenes to do with you." She goes, "You know what? I have priorities. I really don't care." And she walked off.
And they put you in a
Damn.
wig and put you on
No. I did not have Jenny Garth body. At the time, I was bald and fat and had a goatee. And so she walked off. She walked by. And she's like, "Bye, John." I was like, "Bye, Jenny."
Bye.
And,
Bye,
bye, Jenny.
Bye, Jenny.
Bob, Jenny.
But yeah, at the end of the show, she was very like thankful to me. I actually had to like shoo off this one fucking weird ass dude trying to get her autograph while we were in Solvang.
Yeah.
Wait,
Wouldn't
who's trying to
leave-
get
and he
her
wouldn't
autograph?
leave her alone.
But she's
What's that?
in 90210.
Oh,
Of course.
please.
Hey, there are people that, dude. This guy was like 50 at the time, so
Oh, this
he was
is
like,
weird.
"Oh, Jenny Garth 90210." He had like all these photos.
Oh,
of
that's
90210.
All right,
kids.
that's-
Like,
And his
he
billfold.
wanted that shit.
okay. I think I answered my own question. A creep. Just a total
Yeah.
utter creep.
Oh,
that
totally.
sounds like. That's just
Like any of those people
Yuck.
that go on those bus tours around Hollywood.
Exactly.
Those kind of people.
They go by Ellen DeGeneres' house. She just shouts at them, screams at them. The whole neighborhood starts to smell like fish for some reason.
They would go through our neighborhood sometimes, and I would look at them and be like, "You guys really enjoy spending money to watch people walk their dogs, huh?"
Yeah.
And they just laugh. I'm like, "Hey, you paid.
Yeah.
You're in a neighborhood that has almost no significance to this city."
Yeah.
And now, the wonderful lives of the technical superstars from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here they
exactly.
are.
You're like, I work in Hollywood.
People nobody care about.
I have dogs that I'm walking. Take a look at me.
We're
me.
we're just coming towards the end of the show here now, so we actually are
Oh, that
going
was
to finish. We do about an hour, John, but we do have one final segment, and I think it's very
It's good to hear some real Hollywood stories from real Hollywood John, as opposed to John down at the local watering hole.
Don't talk to me about that.
Who I guess on his IMDb, you said you found a commenter. Somebody said that the thing they know about John is that he always lies about what he's done and who he's worked with,
Yeah,
right?
basically.
Somebody like doxed
one of
him on
them.
his own IMDb page.
Yeah, likes
He
to put
lies.
John Loretto. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Oh,
I shouldn't have said that, should I have?
you should have said that off the air. You can bleep it out later.
Yeah, I might have to.
But what do you care? You don't like this guy.
All right, fine.
He's on IMDb. He wants to be in the public eye. So
Yeah.
maybe this is whatever.
Yeah, you're looking up his
Publicity.
IMDb right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody actually did do that, I
178?
kind of do feel bad, but it's also very, very funny.
I don't get what he's doing here in where we live. I guess I'll say Gilbert, Arizona. I say it in hashtags on Instagram, so I guess that's what's.
He's been businessman. He's been mobster number 1.
Number 1, unlikely. Number 3, at least. At the highest, I mean.
Oof. I think I might be making a very powerful enemy here. If he ever hears this. No, not really.
He does have...
He'll get Manny after me, right after he tries to sleep with his sister.
Money.
You wanna fuck me, Tony?
You wanna fuck me, Tony? Fuck me, Tony. It's just such an uncomfortable part of that movie. Such a great film.
I kind of stopped listening to his opinions on anything on film related when he suggested and he couldn't even remember the name of it. He's like because we were talking about Bone Tomahawk. He's like, oh, there's this other cannibal movie that's really cool. It's called like Green. And I'm like, Green Inferno by like Eli Roth, and he's like, yeah, it's so, and I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to this guy. Your taste is shit. If he's like, it's so good.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's one of those like almost like it's so bad it's good type of film. So if he went that way, I would respect his opinion. But I'm like, I no longer respect your opinion on the art of film. Bye.
So
I didn't see Green Inferno.
Oh, I've seen enough of it to know not to watch it.
So we have
Red Letter Media brings it up enough times.
So yeah, we are going to go into the final part here. I think
yeah.
I've done this, but this is a segment we like to call That's Entertainment. And
Oh my god.
it's very hard for me to do this
Two
with the one
words.
mixer.
2 words in a conjunction.
Yes, but it's very hard for me to do because I'm mixing through one channel here.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm turning this down on a fade and all that, I'm actually messing with John's levels as well. So
Gotcha.
And I gotta play the music. It's gotta be done. It's gotta be done.
If you're a Simpsons fan, you might recognize this little tune.
Yeah, well. Yeah.
It's always like in their news segment like breaks on The Simpsons. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And we're done with that music. You'll hear it on the replay, I'm sure, John.
Oh, he can't hear it. Oh,
No, he can. No, I think he can hear it, but I'd say the level was probably too low for him. Anyway, the Animaniacs reboot is out. We're not going. We're not going to watch the video on it. I think it's finally been released as of yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
On Hulu?
Yep.
John, you grew up with Animaniacs?
I did, yeah. I watched. I didn't watch it as religiously as Rocko's Modern Life, but I watched it every now and then.
Yeah, I was kind of actually the opposite. I didn't like Rocko very much. The big heads used to scare me. The big head. Oh, Mr. Big Head. I mean, was that Harvey Firestein doing Mrs. Big Head?
No, it was not. It was one man doing both Ed and Beverly Big Head.
All right. Just that voice. Oh, Mr. Big Head. I think that was the voice, right?
Was that Nickelodeon?
It was something like that.
Was Rocko's Modern Life Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of it, Josh. A little bit like that.
All right. I'll take.
Ed. It was more like that. It was like,
that's
Ed.
that sounds more familiar.
Yeah. Okay. I have Harvey Firestein in my head when I'm thinking of that voice.
As long as it's not Harvey Weinstein.
We won't get on
it's
him.
neither.
But this Animaniacs reboot, I'm going to want to watch it, see what I think of it, because the great thing about Animaniacs back in the early 90s, I think you actually mentioned this the other day, was that they were kind of socio-political commentary cartoon.
Well, here's the biggest thing. We watched 2 trailers back to back. We watched this one, and both trailers had something in common. We watched the Animaniacs one, and then we'll get into it later if you want to.
We'll get into the next one, yeah.
But I mean, Animaniacs, it's appropriate to like go ahead and like bring it into modern day because it was already doing commentary on the 90s, like on the moment it was released, right? So like they actually, I mean, the trailer like the trailer's really good and very promising.
It's very funny.
I guess we don't have time to play it now, but anyway, you can just tell that the trailer is really good and they're like, okay, this is possible.
Yeah.
Bringing this into modern, that was the biggest impression I took from it. And that it did its job. I want to watch it. So
exactly.
There you
That's
go.
all it's got to do. Have you seen the trailer for it yet, John?
I have not.
I recommend you give it a look over. Give it the old once over and tell us what you think.
I think we'll just probably watch it. I'm not a big. I used to love watching trailers, but now I'd rather just watch it.
Well, okay, fair enough. But the next thing we are going to move on to, just based on what you said there, watch this trailer and tell me if you're going to watch it. The new Tom and Jerry movie for 2001.
2001.
2001.
2021. Wow. Okay.
Tom and Jerry, 2001. A space furball.
I know Chloe Grace Moritz is going to be in
Yes.
it.
Yes.
I like her. I had the
I like her too.
opportunity of working with her back in the day a few years ago, and she's very nice, and I like her work, but I don't think I'll probably see that movie. I don't think I will.
I'm just going to. I mean, I worshipped Tom and Jerry growing up. I loved it.
Oh.
I loved Tom and Jerry. And I'm talking about like the 30s, 40s, and 50s version. After the 60s, it started getting lazy. As all cartoons, I think it started getting lazy in the 60s. I mean, like, look at the Flintstones. The Flintstones is one of the cheapest looking cartoons ever made. I just think it's unbelievably cheap looking. It's terrible. The only good thing about it is actually the voice talent was quite good.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo is incredibly cheap looking. But back in the day, they used to put such beauty and work and effort into like their cartoons, like the Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry. And then I watch this trailer, and there's no effort. There's no effort. There's none. No. Nobody. Do you think there was effort?
Do you want to play the trailer?
Well, John won't be able to see it, so it'll be no good.
Well, you can hear it. I think hearing it is enough.
All right.
Is it?
Yeah, hearing it might be enough.
Well, let's
to know.
Okay.
It's definitely
Let's try it
hearing
out.
it is enough to get an impression of what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, let's quickly play the Tom and Jerry trailer for 2021. Not 2001. 2021. Let's see what we can think here.
Kickstarter music for some reason.
After a lifetime of being the world's most famous enemies,
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3.
Tom and Jerry are about to start over.
Cause that's what friends are
This is so cheap looking.
In the big city.
That's all you need. Just pause. Just pause now. That's all you need to know. It's a trailer that says they start over in the big city, and it's like followed by this like by Bruno Mars like pop music or whatever. I don't know. So it's just one of those like, here are the characters. It's an old property, and we're just gonna slap it on like this movie that kids will want to drag their parents to go see.
This mouse and cat would be dead long time ago. You can't bring them into the new.
No.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, like we definitely enjoy the original Tom and Jerry, and even the first episode or shorts that were, his name was Jasper. And really, it's just kind of deteriorated because but it's just one of those things that like Tom and Jerry are almost just those type of characters, like almost like Mickey Mouse and stuff, that they're just an identified property.
You mean corporate rodent?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, John. I know you love Disney, but
no, and so it's just being like, why? And the thing is, it's live. I guess I will describe it is live action, like Space Jam type of looking film, with 2D. Yeah. It's still 2D, 3D. So at least they're not trying to make them look like realistic characters like Sonic the Hedgehog. They tried to do with that.
Oh yeah, that was dreadful looking.
So, but it's just not the Tom and Jerry that the golden age of Tom and Jerry has been long gone.
It was dead before my parents were even born.
Yeah, like it's like
that's how long ago it was.
And I was just gonna say, how can you? I was kind of telling Josh, I'm like, how can you be disappointed by this? Because have you ever actually liked a full feature film of Tom and Jerry? There's
a few.
like more than like a dozen of them out there since like 1992. They've been kind of pumping out. I think 1992 was in theaters.
Yeah, the Tom and Jerry movie. And the rest that's where they started talking. I'm Jerry. I'm Tom. And I was like, what the fuck? They can talk?
The only time I liked Jerry in a movie was he was and most people know it from the Family Guy parody, but he was Tom was in not Tom, sorry, Jerry was in Anchors Away with Dancing Next to Clark.
Yeah.
Not Clark,
oh my gosh, I can't
Clark
talk.
Gable. Gene Kelly.
Gene Kelly.
Come on, woman, get it straight.
Anchors Away, Gene Kelly and Jerry the Mouse dancing with him.
Jetty.
But I do highly recommend you watch that trailer, John. Even if you weren't a big Tom and Ferry. I'm getting tired. Tom and Jerry fan.
That's a Tom and Jerry for the modern age for sure.
You can watch that trailer and just feel free to get angry. I did. I actually screamed at one point. That's how angry I got.
Very shortly after you pause it, there's like for some reason there's like some pigeon, like 3 pigeons that fly up to the screen because you're starting out like on a sky view going down into the city, bird's eye view.
And my reaction, no word of a lie, was
no. No, they just come up and it's just okay. That's a little bit exaggerated, but
no,
I
screamed because they scared the shit out of me. They just flew onto the screen. I was like,
no.
Pigeons! There's birds! There's birds on my screen!
Oh, right, he's having a mental breakdown. But no, the way they flap, oh my gosh, stop! You're turning red in the face. You're gonna pass out and. Anyway, so they're like just flapping on the screen, like kind of bobbing their heads to the music, but the way they're flapping these little 2D against the live action, it looks like Birdemic. If you're familiar with that piece of shit,
yeah. It kind of looks like those decals that people on the backs put on the backs of their cars. It kind of looks like somebody animated those and they came to life and were waving at you in traffic, making you, of course, want to stop tailgating and fully fledged ram somebody.
But that's all you needed. All you needed was that intro music and starting over in the big city to know exactly what it is, right? Like, am I right?
Yeah.
Speaking of the big city, who here among us isn't an Iron Maiden fan? Nobody? Just me? All right. Iron Maiden have a new live...
I'm interested in your interests, Josh.
All right.
What about you, John? I know you like metal music, but are you Iron Maiden fan or...
No, not particularly. I've listened to them, but I don't own any of their albums.
All right. Well, maybe you could start here because where better to start with Iron Maiden than hearing them older, slower, and playing the same songs we've been playing for 20 years. They have a new album out called Night of the Dead, and let's have a quick
because they're nearly
listen.
dead.
Yes. Ah. They just don't quite.
I'm sorry.
They don't quite have it anymore. We saw them live in Phoenix.
Poor Bruce.
You know, the funny thing is, like, I gotta hand it to him though. He's still going at it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
At some point, Lamb of God and Randy Blythe's probably gonna be like. When he tries to sing, so.
Well, I mean, he does.
Like,
he does kind of sound like that anyway.
A broken garbage disposal.
This is a fucking invitation, the only one that you'll ever need, or something. What was that?
Something like that.
Yeah, that was. This is a motherfucking invitation.
Yeah, that's what you just did.
Redneck. Redneck got the sacrament.
No, it's not really a new album because it's just it's a live album, so that's what he means. It's just them playing live, so they're the same songs they've been playing forever and just slower and not as good. So
well, I mean, no, there's no turn down the performance. The turn down is good, but it just sounds like old geriatric men playing Iron Maiden songs because really that's what it is. I mean, at this point, unfortunately, it is.
You are one to not shy away from John from watching old rockers in their 70s wearing leather pants. I know you've seen Alice Cooper live.
Hell yeah,
a couple years ago.
Last year with Amy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a show.
Yeah. So
amazing show.
I mean, we're for people our age that you kind of have no choice. If you want to see them live, you got to see them not in their prime, but in their pruny state of geriatric.
Yeah.
You gotta you might want to go see the Rolling Stones live, but really you're gonna see the California Raisins. It's just how is Keith Richards still alive? Can we all just ask that question? Like, how is that man still alive?
And the final piece of entertainment news from this week: Michael J. Fox is retiring from acting for the second time, and of course we do wish him the best with his future ice cream stores.
Was he able to sign the paperwork?
Oh no!
Oh.
Is that why he failed the first time to do so? His second attempt.
Somebody said last night to me, it's too soon to be making Michael J. Fox Parkinson's jokes, and it's like, well, no. Number one, he's still alive, and number two, he's had it since 1991.
Yeah.
So I don't think. I think it's still fair game. And I'm just going to say this: I love Michael J. Fox. I love the Back to the Future movies. I liked Spin City.
Yes.
I liked Spin City when it was out. I like anything he's in.
Well, good luck with his milkshake shop.
Yes, exactly. That's what we were wishing. Yeah, he's going to be in the next Clint Eastwood movie where he gets to shake more than the old man himself. He gets to play a war a war veteran with Clint from the First World War and Michael J. Fox from the Second.
Don't ever let Michael J. Fox bring you a soda.
No.
Yeah,
no.
well.
Okay. And enough of the Michael J. Fox jokes, because I think that is going to actually do it for the podcast. John, you have a channel. Would you like to plug it, sir?
Your Instagram
yes,
Live
Instagram account.
Yeah.
Cinephile85, Cinephile like cinema, Cinephile 85. I do whiskey and bourbon reviews. I've been on hiatus, but I'm posting episode 50 tomorrow, and that should be fun. And then there will be a special Thanksgiving episode coming up on Thanksgiving as well.
Nice.
Wonderful. If you want to send me on a link for... Actually, I'll just get Brittany to get the link for that. She has Instagram, I don't. But I'll get her to have the link, and I'll include it with the information for this episode, which you will be able to find on YouTube at the West of Waterford podcast. Like, share, and subscribe if you like the show. If you just want to get some pictures of John with like Cloris Leachman and other celebrities, that's also a fun way to see that. That is true. Give John a good follow on the Instagram. Give me a follow on Twitter, Josh Mulcahy 4, where I rant inanely about politics and shout at people for being uglier than I am. That's usually what I do.
And that's why you always shout at me.
And this is why I only have 164 followers. And I probably just lost one now. So, John, thanks very much for coming on the show, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, anytime, my friend.
Always fun chatting.
Absolutely, and we hope to see you in person soon. Give your lovely wife our best regards. Tell Brittany.
We enjoyed seeing her a couple weeks ago.
We really did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, that sounded like it was a good time.
It was a very good time.
Okay. I think that's going to wrap it up, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to the West of Waterford podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. And Bernie is giving us...
This is a Bernie-approved episode.
My name is Bernie Dog. I want my treats. You're going to tax my treats. You're not taking my treats from me. Now feed me. Feed me. John, don't you go into that interdimensional slip again. I need you back. Need you back, John. You need to feed me. I need your tax treats. I need them. I need them now. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.